Aside, like the actual business side and sales side, what has been like the biggest problem? Well, not the biggest problem, but kind of the hardest part of being a mental performance consultant, like dealing with the athletes, maybe like their ego or maybe them not wanting to open up at first, stuff like that.
That's a really good question. Like as far as the work that I'm doing with the athletes, what has been most challenging?
Yes.
I would say the patience. Patience.
Your patients or their patients?
Their patience.
Okay.
Because we want things and we want it now, especially if we recognize like the concern that we have in that moment, especially if our performance isn't what we want it to be right now, and we know we could be better. Patience, because that's another like myth. I actually posted that the other day. It's like I'm just gonna go see some like a mental performance coach a couple times and like good as new. It's like no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Especially depending on like what's going on, right? And so I would say that that's the biggest challenge is helping athletes to understand that this is going to take time depending on where you're at, right? Like this isn't a quick fix.
No.
And to expect, I mean, like even, so like I have a package that's like a 2-month package, and that's normally where I'm meeting with athletes once a week for 8 weeks for an hour.
Okay.
And the reason why I have that package and why I want to meet for 8 weeks consistently for an hour a week is because that's where I've found the most success with athletes. Like after those 2 months, they've like made a good bit of progress where it's recognizable on their end.
Yeah.
And so, it's tough though because some athletes will come in and it's like we've met, or even parents, like we've met for 2 sessions and they're like, okay, what's going on? How's the progress? And it's like we've only met for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? Are they doing the stuff that I give them outside of session? They say they are. Maybe they are admitting that they don't. But even if they are, they aren't. Like it still takes time. And so when that happens, it's important to validate like the want, the desire. Like you want this so bad, and you're working so hard at it, and that's so important. And it's also, hey, let me put this in perspective for you. How long have you been playing your sport? 20 years, all my life, right? Because I started when I was 3 or 4. That's usually the answer. And it's like, okay, you've been working that long and perfecting your craft that long, and how long have you been working on the mental side? 2 weeks, a month. You're not going to be where you're at physically, but mentally, right? Because you haven't been practicing that long. And so let's just take it back. I understand it's frustrating, but we gotta keep working. So
and taste that practice and those little steps. Like you said with anything, if you played your sport for 20 years, I mean, obviously you're gonna be better at that than the mental side. Right. But you work on that mental side for years and years, as like Kobe and all these athletes do. When they're professional, as soon as they start, most of them are working with mental performance coaches and doing that all across their career just so they can get better and better and better.
Right. And keep improving.